Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sounds of Stadia podcast for episode number 139 of your weekly show where we round up all of the gaming and Stadia news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/Helix Cloud Games or up there in the digital cloud on your podcast preference of choice. This week you're joining myself, Chris, alongside the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
You know what? In order to record this, you had to pull me away from making my new city, and it's glorious.
Is that a new city in City Skylines?
It is indeed.
Oh, I'm so bad. Sorry, I do apologise. But we are here, Richie, to break down all the Stadia news. We'll get into City Skylines because we've got a great show for you all lined up this week. We are going to be talking about a surprise pro game. Another one just randomly dropped in the middle of the month. Didn't expect it. Happy coincidence. We're going to talk about that. We've also got 6, 7, possibly even 8 new games to talk about in this week's show. Surprise drop thanks to our friends over at Outright Games. Plenty to break down and discuss this week in that regard. We've also got news about Rockstar doubling down on the cloud, hopefully, potentially, maybe Stadia. Loads of praise for brands like FIFA, Tomb Raider and stuff. And the reason why Fall Guys probably won't be coming to Stadia anytime soon. Sprinkled in with some DLC and additional content. APK breakdowns. Google Immersive Stream, all that kind of stuff, and much, much more. But before we get into all of it, do not forget to click like on the video, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're kept in the loop with all of the content we bring you at Helix Cloud Games, like our weekly live streams, like our weekly Let's Plays, like our shows, Sounds of Stadia podcast every Monday, Richie, our new rebranded, refreshed side quest that goes live on Fridays.
Plenty of content. Called CloudQuest.
It is. Did I say side quest?
You said side quest.
I could have sworn I said CloudQuest in my head.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know,
we've spoke about it. People know what it's all about. It's went down really well. Thank you for everyone for supporting us through that. Again, we mentioned it last week, but not a major change, just a rebrand and a little bit of a refocus on what that particular show is about. And thankfully, everyone supports it. Wonderful stuff. And our Helix Heroes support us. I said Heroes as well. Heroes. Our Helix Heroes, in fact, support us that extra little bit longer, a little bit more, and they get the show up to 6 days early, just like you can. So as we get onto that later on in the show, we'll remind you. But Richie, you mentioned it at the top of the show. I've pulled you away from it. We did a live stream this week, a Thursday night live stream, as we usually do here on the channel, 8 p.m. UK time, nearly every Thursday. And we dove into City Skylines. And quite frankly, we had a great time. I had an absolute blast.
Yeah, it's like, it was a blast just sitting there playing with and just planning out a city and stuff. But it's like, it's one of them games we brought up in the live stream where you start playing, I'll play for an hour, and then you realise it's 4 a.m.
Yeah, there was
what happened?
Really crazy time. We were just, again, we were going through our taxes. We were talking politics on the show, in real life and both in the game. We were managing sewage and electrical output and education levels in our newfound city. We were giving our viewers and listeners residence. We were just dishing out the residential homes like there was no tomorrow. Having a great time. Yeah, glanced out the clock and it was like 10 to 10. We'd been streaming for nearly 2 hours and it had gone just like that. And that is the good sign of a SimCity-esque game. What do you refer to these as? I was going to say RTS, but
city simulators.
SimCity is literally the best form of saying it. It was absolutely terrific, and we'll get into that as part
management
of
sims. That's what
management sims. You were my planning officer for the city. We let the chat and the crowd get involved in name places. We dedicated. What do we have, Richard? We had the Phil Harrison Memorial School dedicated to Mr. Phil Harrison for our education board. Then we also had the hospital dedicated to Grace, former community manager.
We did, yeah.
Heals the community. And then we had Shaka out there for running the fire station for our sick bands, or putting out PR fires, as you said. I think on the stream. Great episode. First look for me and Richie. So if you're new to the game, go check it out. We kind of figured stuff out as we went, and I think we did a really good job. We didn't really have any fires. We didn't have any major issues. It was actually a very well-run city. I'm proud of it.
What I was quite impressed with, you managed to manage the city, and you didn't take out a single loan through that entire stream. Where the couple of games I've started and the one I'm currently playing through, I ended up using loans.
I've
I
seen
manage them well, but
Yeah.
it's for me. Sometimes it's more impatience than anything.
Yeah.
I want to build this thing. It's like, take a loan, build it.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy to get caught in with that one. But we'll talk about that more. No doubt we'll probably jump back into Helix City and have a look around. But let us know in the comments, how are you enjoying it? How are you playing it so far? And we will be talking about it in a brief moment because it's our first story in the news bracket. But before we do get there, Richie, there is actually a Richie's retcon ritual we need to touch on from last week's show when we announced some Ubisoft titles that had been listed on Ubisoft earnings report. Good old Ubisoft. What did they go and do 2 years in a row, Richie?
Yeah, well, I want to bring up then, this is not, we weren't wrong in reporting this. The information was correct to the best of our knowledge at the time. Ubisoft screwed us. They announced that For Honor was coming to Stadia. Again, and again, a couple of days later, after we recorded, and actually, was it the Monday after the episode went live?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
They turned around and go, oh no, For Honor's not coming.
Yeah. It was an error in their investors' call. They reached out to our friends at Stadia Source and just clarified with them. For the second year in a row, For Honor season content has shown up in the earnings report, alongside all the other games, Riders Republic, Rainbow Six Siege, Valhalla, all the other titles that are on Stadia and Luna. It was actually listed for Luna as well, we should point out, but for some reason, whether they're just trying to secretly hide this big release, but as a few people mentioned, For Honor, as well as the game is supported, it is an older title, so it seems odd that they would keep slipping up on this one. Do you think it's ever actually going to come, Richie, or...?
I don't know, because it is an ongoing title that they do still support. And I haven't heard any rumours of a For Honor 2 down in the pipeline or anything. So
and it feeds into their Ubisoft plus narrative as well. They want all the library on those platforms. So
I don't know. I don't know what the status of For Honor is on crossplay. I think we talked about it last week a bit, but it's like without crossplay, it's not worth bringing. With has crossplay, I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, well, we did some research into their website, and it said crossplay is currently in development and rollout. So, and that's what made us think, that means it probably is in line for a Stadia and Luna launch. I do think it will honestly come. It just Ubisoft for some reason can't either commit to announcing it or not announcing it. Well, along with other things. So
something we're going to be talking about in CloudQuest is the Ubisoft Classics, and it isn't listed as a Ubisoft Classic.
Ooh, that is a good point. Yes, little tease for CloudQuest there. Episode number 68 goes live for our members, actually, at the time of listening. If you're listening to this now on Monday or later in the week, it's already up for our members, our Helix Heroes. Click join below. You get early access to that content. If you don't have the cash to spare to support our channel, do not fear. It will drop on free feeds come Friday, and you can enjoy it then on YouTube or on podcast services. So, Richie, Retcon Ritual out the way. We got a busy jam-packed show, so let's dive into it. If you could introduce us to the
super sexy special Stadia story segment, aka
the news. Busy news week this week, and once again, it is supported and sponsored and propped up by our Helix Heroes. Shout out to the newest member to the Helix Hero channel, CubeApple76. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for supporting and joining us. You now get a super sticker next to your name, loads of exclusive perks, and access to early content, just like the aforementioned CloudQuest. One of the best shows on the internet, I've heard, Richie. It's getting rave reviews all over podcast services.
I actually referred to it as the best cloud gaming show on the internet. I think in one of our members only community posts when we launched the show.
We are nothing if not humble on this channel. But let's get into the thick of it, Richie. Story number 1, we've alluded to it already slightly. Cities Skylines Stadia Edition arrived on the platform this week with a nice little tease surprise. We got a tasty little blog post updating us on some of the titles, and to many people's surprise, City Skylines, it goes pro straight away. The City Skyline gameplay elements introduce the thrills and hardships of creating and maintaining a real city whilst expanding on some well-established tropes of the city building experience. We've already obviously touched it and discussed it and broke it down, but for those who've not played it, it's from Paradox Interactive. Over on social media, actually, a lot of the developers were praising the Paradox team themselves. I think one of their former, I don't think he was the CEO, but he was one of their leads, tweeted out basically saying like it was a hard graft to get it over to Stadia. So there's certainly a story in there somewhere. There's some kind of interview to be done, to be had, because it doesn't seem like it was the smoothest port.
The thing is, with stuff like that, the experience of getting it ported over might be NDA'd, so they might not be able to discuss it.
Oh, no surprise there. You're not going to put something on a platform.
I mean, I'd love to hear the story. If anyone is listening from Paradox and you are able to talk about it, hit us up. We'll have a chat.
Yes, I'm sure our good friend John Scar's out there doing the best work he can to get him on the show if they're keen on talking or if they're allowed to talk. But interesting one. The game actually runs fantastic. We had no issues across the board. We use mouse and keyboard throughout our stream the other night. We actually did test out the controller because a few people in the chat asked how it functioned. Just the same as you would expect the console variation to. It's easy to control on the sticks. It brings up the lettered button options for the menus, R1, L1 to scroll through. It works pretty self-explanatory. I found it quite intuitive when I jumped on and used it. But for those type of games, Richie, it's got to be keyboard and mouse, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can get by. Like, if, say, you were away in a hotel or something and you just threw your key in your bag, you could get by for an evening doing that. Yeah, but if you want to get into it, you want a mouse and keyboard.
You want to get into it. Yeah.
But these are sort of games that Stadia can excel at, where other traditional consoles can't. So I'm glad for it.
Yeah, well, that is one of the things we said. We actually did an old SideQuest episode about what type of games and genres we would love to see on the platform, and a big push for both you and me was these RTS simulator-style games because they lend themselves so well to anyone who doesn't have a good, solid PC. These games can get quite expansive and detailed, and having that in the cloud, fantastic. And I'm hoping City Skylines is just the first kind of domino, along with Humankind, in that kind of genre to tip on the others, because I've been saying for months now, Richie, give me some Jurassic World or Planet Coaster. Come on, Frontier, do it. I know you're out there. I know you're listening. Alongside,
I just had to check because I wanted to make sure I was getting this right before we said it. It was actually on the back of this being announced that we did that episode.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
fantastic. It's almost like we take the news,
episode 58,
and discuss off the back of the news what our topics are. But yes, on the top of the game actually launching, there is also a free trial from Paradox Interactive, so you get up to 60 minutes at no additional cost without a Stadia account. Just click and play. If you don't have Pro or you want to check it out. It is $39.99 to pick up in the Stadia store for the base game, so it's an absolute bargain on Pro at that price. Little bit high of an entry point for a game that's, I think, coming up on 7 years old. I will say that.
Yes, I think that it's a little overpriced. I haven't checked what it's like on other storefronts, but
that's the Pro incentive, right?
Yeah.
Pick it up on Pro and you get it for free. So that's the kind of, they're clearly pushing us towards Pro with that price point. And then on the addition to side of that, if anyone's checked out the DLC for City Skylines, there is a ton of it. So much so, I believe if you buy everything, the kind of super deluxe add-on pack with everything, it's something like £130, £140.
Yeah, it's insane. You have to. I don't know who that bundle's for.
Rich people.
Because, but it's one of them. You'd only want to buy that much DLC for a game that you're already really invested in.
True.
In which case, you've probably been playing this on PC or something already, but it's there if you want it.
Yeah,
there's a couple of DLCs that are free though, so it's worth looking through.
That is a good point. We were actually, I think a few people were concerned that the DLC wasn't going to come to this version of the game, so it's great to see that all of the expansions over the last several years are actually accessible and ready to go. But as we said, go check it out. We had a thoroughly good time with it. I will certainly be jumping back into the city and checking it out. Is this game like Tamagotchi, Richie? If I leave it for a week and come back, is everyone going to be dead, or am I okay? I'm only joking.
No.
All my citizens are dead from some nuclear fallout because I didn't fix the
power.
Or
worse, the city's thrived without you.
All that, yeah, I could come back and they just don't need me to oversee it as their almighty Lord.
God, this guy's back. Pretend we're dead.
Pretend we're dead. We did build a cemetery near the end of the first look, so we know where to dump them all. Anyway, moving on, as we've got a busy show full of games. Another announcement actually comes direct from our good friend John Scar, which we mentioned, FOUR Gaming. Go check out his channel. He does some fantastic stuff over there. DeathRun TV, which we discussed when it got ESRB rated a few weeks back, has a release date. It is coming out on Google Stadia June the 1st, Richie, so just over a week and a half away. And I suspect on next week's show, we might be listing this as a pro game for June.
I think any time a game comes out on the first of a month, you're going to go pro game. It does feel like it should be a pro game as well.
It does. It has that indie vibe. I can't imagine the initial RRP price is going to be too crazy for it as well. We actually discussed it a little bit more in depth a few episodes back, but for those who don't know, DeathRun TV, I think I described it as it looks like Super Meat Boy graphics meets Dead Nation almost in terms of the kind of zombie shoot 'em up quick twin stick shooter action. It takes place in a fictional studio in the future, similar to the Running Man movie. If you've ever seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's Running Man, it's very, very similar to that in the sense of you're in a fake game show in the future and you just got to survive rounds and rounds of death and carnage. Running Man's actually a terrific movie if you've not seen it. It's definitely one of Arnie's classics. Breakneck speed, bullet dodging action, lots of guns. You'll have to survive swarms of rabid mutants to progress and level up your contestant. All the likes get you the points, Richie. It's very social media driven. Twin stick bullet hell action will test your reflexes through each arena. And the entertainment never ends. That is DeathRun TV coming to you June the 1st. Will it be a pro game?
I think I'm going to go I'm giving this a yes. It's coming to pro.
I think it is. It does actually launch on other platforms on the 1st of June, so it might actually be one of those that it's just convenient for the contracts with other platforms that it's coming 1st of June, but I can't imagine Stadia don't look at that and go, come on.
But, it might come to PS Plus as well. There's no reason it can't go to a couple of platforms.
It could very much do.
I noticed it's PS5, Switch, Steam, Stadia, and Epic, I believe. Mm-hmm. Xbox seems absent. That's weird. But okay.
They may have got some funding for one of the other platforms, potentially, like Kickstarter, and one of them was you can't go there for a few months. It's weird. It'll probably be on Game Pass eventually. To be
so only them give them a bag of cash. I don't care where you put it, just not Xbox.
Well, actually, funny enough, we talk later on, but Fall Guys and Mediatonic, like, They are not on Xbox or Switch as of now. They were exclusive to PlayStation, possibly because of the PS Plus deal.
True, but that was a PlayStation exclusive initially, where this is not an exclusive. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, these deals are all over the place. And as Stadia fans, we're not really one to talk about deals or exclusivity when it comes to indie titles. Have we actually had any first on Stadia games this year? Now we mentioned it.
I think Wavetail might have been the last.
So back end of last year.
Yeah.
Like November, October, I think Wavetail dropped. Great game, Wavetail, by the way, if no one's played it.
We actually haven't had that many games come to Stadia this year.
That is a good point.
We're still below the cadence and need to make that 100, so...
We are. Until this week's episode, because thanks to our friends at Outright Games, we'll get to it. We do want to touch on as well Roller Champions. For the third story of the week, Roller Champions. We covered it last week as part of the Ubisoft... investor report, which when they lied to us, Richie, they told us For Honor was coming, and then it wasn't. Did they not have any honor? Do they not have any honor over there? But they did.
Like teasers.
They do, yeah. They did actually clarify though this week from a blog post that Ubisoft free to play. I will point out free to play team-based Skater Roller Champions is launching this week, 25th of May. However, not on Stadia. It's coming to Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and it will be arriving on Luna and Google Stadia at a later date yet to be confirmed.
Is it coming to Switch later as well? Or am I completely getting that?
I'm reading from the Eurogamer article. It doesn't say on here, so I cannot confirm nor deny, Richie, whilst you click away and I'm sure do some research. Roller Champions, for those who didn't pick it up on it last week, is the Ubisoft's attempt at creating a knockout sports mashup similar to Rocket League, combining it with fast-paced hybrid roller skating, hockey/football, where two teams of three hurtle around a track in an attempt to wrestle the ball from one another and score a goal. Now, weirdly enough, this is actually getting some good early previews. So unlike Hyperscape, which kind of died a death upon release, I think the service for Hyperscape only lasted 18 months, which is scary for a company the size of Ubisoft to only support it for less than 2 years. However, Roller Champions, it seems like it's got its bit between the teeth with these early demos that we're seeing. Next Wednesday, we can play it, Richie. You and me can just go download it, play it on our PlayStations, unfortunately. And I think this set a bit of a sour taste out in the community because Ubisoft, as we know, are one of, if not the biggest supporter when it comes to this platform. And are we now going to start seeing a cadence where we don't get Roller Champions day and date? Does Division Heartlands not come? Does X Defiant not come day and date? And are we starting to slip down the priority ladder for Ubisoft as well?
Well, you're kind of getting into one of my concerns there, where actually I did want to double check from a reputable source that it was definitely delayed to Switch, because it is. I can confirm from GameSpot, found a decent article there. Yeah, it's confirmed to be coming later to Switch. My worry is not so much is it are we getting it later. It's like, are we potentially getting the Switch version rather than the PlayStation version or the Xbox version or the PC version? Because it only seems to be delayed, from what I can tell, on Switch and Stadia.
Well, the game does support crossplay and cross-progression, which is Ubisoft's tactic at the moment.
It's delayed on Lunar as well, so it could be just a cloud thing.
Possibly.
It's possible the Switch is going to be a cloud version by then.
That is true. Yeah, possibly.
Reading from GameSpot, the game will arrive on Nintendo Switch and via streaming. Oh, my bad. Okay. I misread that sentence as Nintendo Switch. Via streaming,
via streaming. I'll actually throw in a little chuckle for yourself there. The initial article I was reading from, the end of the article does say, with versions supporting crossplay and cross-progression, Switch and mobile releases are also planned. So if I'd have just read it fully. But we go through a lot of news here on the show. It's sometimes hard to keep up with it all. The fact that it's getting a mobile release does make me think that the mobile version is going to be the base entry level. And all the other versions with crossplay and cross-progression are going to kind of build up from the mobile version. We've seen it at the moment with eFootball. That's what happens with theirs because they also have a mobile version. So if you start at the lowest common denominator and work your way up through the platforms, and that's how you get cross-play and cross-progression working quite well. But anyway, I'm intrigued by Roller Champions, and I would have loved to do a live stream on a Thursday night with our lovely community out there, but it looks like we might have to wait a little bit longer. Just a little bit for this game.
Well, I'm hoping we get a big drop of Ubisoft games to Stadia in a single month, because then I'll get 1 month for Ubisoft Plus. We'll cover a lot of stuff, and then I'll have to pay for 1 month of it. Unless something tickles my fancy, but...
Unless something tickles your fancy. Well, actually, before we get into the next big chunk, Richie, I will jump ahead slightly to another Ubisoft game that was confirmed and dropped on Stadia this very week. Far Cry Primal finally sees the light of day. It's thawed itself from its ice age that it was given. It's been over 1 whole year since a Stadia blog actually said Far Cry 4 and Primal will be coming to the platform. The end of the open world game takes on the back of the Far Cry 4 map. Massive beasts, breathtaking environments, unpredictable savage encounters, no guns. For the first time in Far Cry history, no guns. You're a tribesman surviving with your group using spears, tomahawk axe things, throwing rocks, archers, arrows, not archers. I guess you're an archer if you use an arrow.
And your wits.
And your wits about you to survive mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and everything else. I actually really enjoyed Far Cry Primal. It was, even though they used the same map and the kind of tweaks around, you can never really tell. But the sheer fact that there was no guns, it was a whole different experience. There's also no English in the game. That's an interesting point. It's all like, well, I mean, it's prehistoric, so it's all like, it's all like grunts, and it does have subtitles, but I don't recall. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, chat. It's been many, many years since I finished that. I did get the platinum in it, but I can't remember what the hell was going on really, other than lots of grunts and stuff. But yeah, I don't recall there being any actual English, so they must have saved on voiceover artists for that particular game as well. But it's available now. Again, slightly expensive price point. I think it's £30 when we usually get Ubisoft titles at a cheaper price.
I think this might be a general strategy Ubisoft are going to adopt, where they're actually going to try and prevent their games dropping in price to push people into Ubisoft Plus. Where if you're looking, do I buy Far Cry Primal for £30 or do I get that's 2-3 months of Ubisoft Plus? And then I can play Far Cry, I can play Roller Champions, I can play other things. Where I'm just blanking
Other
all the
things.
Ubisoft games.
Other things. The Ubisoft original Other Things.
Yeah, that one, that game.
Yeah. It followed the Stranger Things DLC on Far Cry, Other Things.
Riders Republic, and that's the one I was thinking of. Like, I was just completely blanked on it. Like,
blank. Well, do not fear, but it's here. Hopefully, this is a sign that we'll actually see Far Cry 4 some point soon. I saw some people asking on social media what's taking so long, and the reality may be just that Far Cry Primal is a smaller game, so it takes less time to sieve through and port across, whereas Far Cry 4 is it's the whole game. Primal is just kind of a reskin of that. I actually tweeted two things. I messaged Ubisoft directly to inquire about the Blood Dragon content, because it's been over 5 months now since it came to other consoles. So if you picked up Far Cry 6 last autumn, the content came out last December on other platforms. We're now nearly in June, Richie, and the poor folks over on Stadia who bought it, they haven't got it yet. So I messaged them privately, and their response was basically, they give me a link to an article saying it's delayed on Stadia, which was like, well, I knew that. I'm 5 months late. So yes, I knew it was delayed. Can you give me an update?
Delayed. That's it. It's like,
can I have an update? Because I paid for this as a consumer, and I'd like to know when I'm going to be getting the product that I paid for. To which they said, we don't get... Like, the team I was speaking to, customer service, just don't have that information. So I was like, you know what, fair enough. Tweeted at them, tagged them in it, asked them over on Twitter, thinking that their specific Twitter handle, Ubisoft Help, would get back to me with help. And to this day, that was like over a week ago now. They're yet to reply to me. For clarity's sake as well, I bought this on PlayStation. I platinumed this game on PlayStation. So my investment isn't even on the Stadia platform. But I'm doing it for the sheer consumer integrity that some poor sod who bought this last Christmas hasn't been able to play what they purchased nearly half a year later.
Here's my prediction, because Ubisoft seem to be releasing the games in reverse order on Stadia. We've just got Primal, it'll be 4 next, and then Blood Dragon.
So we're just counting down to...
Yeah, that seems the way we go. That's what they've done with the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have promised it with Far Cry 6 if that was the case. But we digress. That's a little bit of Far Cry update for me this week. It's not Mafia, but it's getting there. I'll keep an eye out for you, because I'm such a passionate Blood Dragon fan. More so than I am a Mafia fan, funnily enough. Do you want a Mafia update, Richie, while we're here? I know you weren't expecting it.
No, let's do it. Surprise Mafia update.
Surprise Mafia update, incoming. It has been 602 days since it released on other platforms. 25th of December, 2020. Seeing 2020 out loud seems so long ago now. 2020 September, over 600 days ago. It was teased on Twitter in May of the same year, which was 737 days ago. So the Hangar 13 team tweeted out and said, hey guys, Mafia Definitive Edition Trilogy will be coming to Stadia. We'll let you know more updates on that soon. Here we are, 737 days later.
Oh, they crack me up.
They do.
2 years later, they've had no update. The only update we've had is the release of 1/3 of the things that were promised.
Yeah. They also are going backwards, maybe. So we've got 3, then we'll get 2, then we'll get 1. Maybe in time before 4 comes out. We'll see. We digress. We joke. Yeah. Our long-time listeners and viewers know our feelings towards the Mafia franchise now, well and truly. Remember when I did that first look? When we were drunk on our live stream at the very end of the night. It was our celebration for something. Was that one?
Was that an anniversary stream last year?
It might have been, yeah. It was 2-year anniversary stream. And what better way to celebrate than playing a game I'm starting to detest. Either way, we won't go into it. We've got games to talk about, folks. Next story of the week, Outright Games delivered us their very first digital showcase event in the form of Outright Unpacked 2022. It was a nice little showcase. The actual presentation didn't run for too long, which I think is the perfect bite-sized amount for digital showcases. You don't want to drag it out too much. And they give us a slew of games coming to the Stadia platform. I'm sure those eagle-eyed viewers over on social media have seen them all so far. But then we got a nice little community follow-up blog to basically break down everything that was coming and just lock in some dates and times. So reading from a combination of the Stadia blog and also myself, Richie, I covered this for Stadia Source this week, wrote more articles back to back than I've ever done before. Did not expect a reporting on some titles ever in my life, but we'll get into it. Story number 1, DC Super Pets confirmed. It was ESRB rated a little while back. DC League of Super Pets, The Adventures of Krypto and Ace, to give it its full title, is officially coming on July 15th. So not too long away at all. We mentioned it before, but just to let people know, suit up as Superdogs Krypto and Ace and soar through the 3D streets of Metropolis in a bot-smashing, pet-rescuing adventure inspired by the new movie, which I don't think is out yet. When Superman and Batman's favourite caped canines uncover a plot to pet-nap Metropolis' stray animals, these four-legged fighters aren't just going to roll over. So unleash Krypto's heat vision, Arctic bark powers, or Ace's batarangs and shoulder charge attacks to bring evil bots to heel, rescue the animals before they're locked up, and pamper them at the pet adoption centre to earn super rewards. Then prepare for the ultimate battle. Who is behind the pet-napping plot? Now this is in on rails. Not really on rails, but it's an on rails game, similar to, what would you say?
Star Fox.
Star Fox, would you say?
Yeah, it looks actually.
Thingy
there's some of the gifs and there's some of the gifs on the Stadia community blog does look kind of Star Foxy.
Yeah, it looks
like
fine.
Not in terms of aesthetic, but in terms of how it plays with that square reticle moving around.
It looks quite fun, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if you can do a barrel roll.
Oh, you've got to be able to. Surely. Yeah. Actually, yeah, he does in the first GIF. But yes, Krypto is Superman's dog, I'm going to go with. And Ace is Batman's dog in this kind of extended Pets universe. I'm going to go... I mean, he's got batarangs, so... I'm surprised it's not more bat labelled. But you know what? The game looks great. I love the fact that all these outright family games have the most elongated titles ever. DC League of Super Pets, The Adventures of Krypto and Ace.
It's because a lot of them are named after like TV shows, so they've got to get the full TV show name in or movies in like the name of the game.
Yeah.
And then they've got to get like the suffix in there, which is basically the name of the game anyway.
They do indeed. You love to see it. That is the first game that's up on the list. Did we ever get that Zorro game?
I don't believe so.
Because that was based on a Nickelodeon show or a Netflix show, right? It was like Zorro and the something Antonio Banderas Puss in Boots or something like that.
I really can't remember.
I don't think we did.
I remember us talking about something.
I don't think we did. I remember because I got the damn trailer for a random kids show I've never heard of before. But either way, we digress. Game number 1, Krypto and Ace. Game number 2, Richie. This was something I never expect to be reporting or writing about in my life as a 32-year-old lad. My Little Pony, A Maritime Adventure, is also confirmed and coming to Stadia. For those people who are My Little Pony fans out there, Sunny, not Sunny Cloud Gaming, don't get too confused. I mean, it may be him, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Sunny wants to bring the magic of Maritime Bay Festival back to Equestria, but some pony is about to spoil her damn plans. These horses, Richie, they're such bitches. That would have been Ace and Krypto, actually, maybe. Save the celebration for putting on fashion shows, rescuing cute animals, flying with Pegasi, and more, with a helping hoof from our new My Little Pony friends. This game is classic kind of family games. Lots of little puzzle quests. There's a dance mat part. There's jump over the bricks and avoid the obstacles. Kind of like
Seems to be a bit of a collectathon going on.
Yeah, it's like got its own little mini open world. You get to explore and you collect these little stars by the looks of the video trailer. I can't say that I've looked too much into it. I'll be honest. When I did the Stadia Source article, I very much just copied and pasted most of the blurb from the website. I didn't want to waste much of my adult life looking into this. But if you are a fan of My Little Pony, you can, as listed on the blog, the features of this game. Be a pony. Number 1, be a pony. And not the Sony fan version of that. 2, learn new powers, because ponies have powers. Explore Maritime Bay, I was going to say Maritime Bay then, and multiplayer party mode. 2 players can put on fashion shows, herd bunnies, and more. Now, I know this isn't for you, Richie. We joke all the time with these games. It's not for me.
You know what I'm going to... for some reason, I just can't get this out of my head. What I'm going to suggest here, and I haven't discussed this with Chris, so he doesn't have a clue. If we can break 2,000 subs by the end of the year, we'll do a first look.
I mean... Yeah.
Yeah,
if you want to dangle that carrot for those viewers and listeners out there. Yeah. Funny enough, actually, you should mention that. Because I did notice throughout the week, and we haven't actually brought it up on the show yet, but our subscriber count is on the cusp of 1,500. We are 13
It's
at the
why I
time of
didn't go for
recording.
1,500.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's where I thought you were going with it.
No, God.
If you are listening out there and you're halfway through the show already, we really would appreciate you sharing it on social media, tagging other people in it, anyone who's out there on the Reddit threads who genuinely is looking for Stadia content. And I know it can be quite thin on the ice sometimes. We're a rare breed of Stadia content creators now. Some of them are dropping like flies. There's some really passionate ones who are out there. Some who are trying to get the news out, get talking about the platform. And we want to do our absolute best. And we can only do that so much ourselves. So you actually sharing the content, tagging and retweeting and posting that isn't direct places that we might not deal with. We do appreciate it, but we would love it if we could get over that 1,500 mark at some point soon. So we're just 13 subscribers short of 1,500. And as Richie said, yeah, you know what, fuck it. If we get to 2,000 by the end of 2022, then yes, we will do a My Little Pony stream for your enjoyment, I guess.
And you know what? We've been saying for a while that we should do a full Overcooked 1 stream. Should we do that for our 1,500 celebration?
Yeah, we can.
We'll hit 1.5, yeah. Because we both have the game.
We do.
So we've just been looking for the right time to play it.
Yeah,
so we'll do. I think we can do that for 1,500.
Yeah. We do. Again, we do have big plans for the channel, folks. I know we keep saying it, but we're just there's certain things the planets need to align first before we can reveal the secrets. Before we can let all of the Titans out of the pit to attack Mount Olympus. I'm going off on a random Hercules tangent for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going.
Disney fans out there will know. Anyway, moving on, Richie. That is not the end of our games because more family friends are coming to the platform. The next announcement from the outright games list was, in fact, Paw Patrol Grand Prix, which is, if this was 6-year-old Chris telling you this news, I would have said Grand Prix because that's what I used to say. My parents used to laugh at me. And it's spelled pricks. Why wouldn't a kid think?
I think I did the same for myself. It's just how it's written down. If you've never heard the word,
yeah, I guarantee you, loads of kids go to their parents and go, "Mum, Dad, I really want to play Paw Patrol Grand Prix," and the parents will have a little chuckle to themselves and go, "Oh, child, it's not Prix, it's Prix. It's French, I guess. I don't know." Either way, we've got it coming to the platform. This one actually does look really good. It's coming on September 30th, so a little bit longer to wait. Outright Games, developed by 3D Clouds. It's essentially, it's a kart racer. It's a Paw Patrol kart racer, 4-player split screen. It's the fastest mission yet to win the Pup Cup. Drive around iconic locations including Adventure Bay, Jake's Snowboarding Resort, and the Jungle, just known as the Jungle, to find out who will be crowned the winner. Play with friends in this multiplayer championship. You can pick up any of your favourite pups, including Chase, not to be confused with our good friend Chase, the gaming advocate, Sky, or Marshall. But watch out because sneaky Mayor Humdinger Richie could be just around the corner to turn your race into a crazy catastrophe. Astrophy. Is this cats versus dogs kind of thing? Or is it just a play on words? I don't know. This kart racer includes easy control options for the little ones with auto accelerator to guide them around the track. That one's just for you, Richie. As well as a hard mode for experienced track stars. 4 Paw Patrol racers, become a champion, customise your karts with some mad madness flung in for the laughs. You know what? It's a kart racer. If you're a Paw Patrol's fan, if you've got kids, this is going to be an awesome time.
It's an entry level kart racer based on Paw Patrol. Play with your kids, you'll have a good Yeah.
And on a platform where we are starved of Crash Team Racing or Mario Kart, you know what? I'll give it to them. Paw Patrol Grand Prix coming your way September 30th. Fill your boots. Funny enough, Richie, next game, again, plenty of game announcements this week. We always moan about game announcements. They might not be for you, but you know what? The library needs to grow. LOL. Surprise. I'd never heard of this. This is another title I'd never ever heard of.
It's not League of Legends.
It's not League of Legends, no. This is...
That would be a surprise.
That would be. It's LOL Surprise, ! BB's Born to Travel. I have no idea what this is. Fans around the world cannot wait to unbox their own LOL Surprise doll, and you're about to make their dreams come true. Choose your characters, collect fabulous LOL Surprise dolls full of glitter, diamonds, and more, and team up with 4 friends. This is essentially within the most copyright infringed limitations that they could put together. This is Overcooked.
Yeah, I was just watching the trailer. Like, this is just Overcooked. It just looks like Overcooked.
Yeah,
they've put a skin on Overcooked.
Which
I mean, that's probably fun then.
That makes the game
surprise
better, in my opinion. I don't know what LOL Surprise is. I'm sure there's parents out there who have children who know what these creepy ass doll things are. I don't know, when we were kids, Richie, my sister had, was it Bratz dolls? Was that the thing?
I have
Bratz,
no
in
idea. I haven't
between,
listened to
like,
myself, but
Barbie and stuff. But either way, yeah. Lol surprise, aka Overcooked copyright infringed version. It's coming out October 7th, so good to see. Nice to see Outright covering all bases of all families. To manify it a bit, Richie, to bring it back around to something that we're probably a bit more familiar with. The next entry was Star Trek Prodigy Supernova, coming October 2022, based on the Prodigy TV animated series. After the Pro Star picks up its strange readings from a dying star, Dara L, I want to say, and Gwendala race against time to save their friends, their ship, new alien species, and an entire planetary system before a supernova destroys them all. When the Pro Star's malfunctioning transporter scatters the crew across 3 alien planets, Dal and Gwyn, it's because she's called Dal as a shortened version, that would have made sense earlier, must use their wits and skills to overcome ingenious puzzles, endure hostile environments, and battle deadly robot armies to rescue Jancom, Pog, Rotak, Zero, and Murph. But as they search for their friends, they soon discover a sinister and deadly new enemy, one that will stop at nothing to destroy the Protostar and change the very course of history. I have no idea what I just read out. But I am a Star Trek fan, and I don't recognise anything or anyone mentioned in there. Give me some Picard or Chris Pine in the new reboot movies, Zachary Quinto even, at a stretch.
From what I can tell, Star Trek Prodigy is a Star Trek animated series from Nickelodeon.
Is that from the artwork? You figured that out?
No, so it's literally in the trailer.
Okay, I'll let you off then.
Yeah. So it's probably just like, I don't know if any of the traditional like Star Trek cast are in there, but like might be.
It might be like most like the Netflix spin-off show. It's usually like an alternate universe or a different time period that doesn't interact with, like, you don't want Sir Patrick Stewart showing up in every version of Star Trek. You need to mix it up to some degree. I mean, ideally, yes. The features of this one: you can play as 2 characters, either solo or co-op, in 2-player mode, in an exciting action adventure. There's new worlds to explore, as I mentioned, with environments, puzzle solving, challenges, and mysteries. There's alien species to learn about their history, discover secrets as you battle new enemies and Nemesi. Is Nemesi the plural of Nemesis? Nemesis. Anyway, we'll learn more in October when this game drops on Stadia. So the games keep coming thick and fast. The last one from Outright's Unwrapped event as we round out these 6 game announcements. DreamWorks Dragons Legend of the Nine Realms, following up on the other DreamWorks Dragons game, which I can't remember the name of as I say it out loud. What was it?
No, I can't remember.
DreamWorks Dragons... Think, Chris, think. DreamWorks Dragons. I've read about it on this show so many times, and this is how either I've just detached from it, or we report that much news, my brain just can't. Either way, it's not relevant. It's the new
Dawn
game.
of the New
Dawn
Riders?
of the New Riders, that's it. It's because the name's so long. Either way, DreamWorks Dragons Legend of the Nine Realms it was actually becoming in fall 2022, or autumn for those people in the UK. Unleash your inner dragon and fly beyond the hidden world on your fiery adventure to rescue Thunder's family and save the legendary Dragon Kingdoms. Soar and dive through unexplored realms of fire, ice, and beyond. Use your speed, tail, and claws to defeat strange creatures and giant bosses in your way. Level up Thunder to become the ultimate hero, choosing which new powers to unlock. All dragonkind is depending on you. Now, what I do like about these games, Richie, these for me are very much the Spyro the Dragon. Not just because it's a dragon, but it's the similar mechanics. You get a bit of an open world. You get some hack and slash like use your tail, your wings, fly, glide around.
It looks like a hack and slash dungeon crawler, basically.
It does, yeah. It's not quite over the shoulder like Spyro used to be, but that's what it reminds me of anyway. Yeah. Again, features very on the point with these outright descriptions. 1. Be a dragon. You can be a pony in the other one, be a dog in the other one. This one you can be a dragon. 2, you can fly to new realms. 3, you can build your own character. And 4, you can unlock new heroes, which is the characters from the rest of the mythology, I guess, within. Funnily enough, unlock new heroes: Plowhorn, Wu and Wei, and Feathers. Now, Wu and Wei, 2 of the families from the Chinese Romance of the Three Kingdoms story, so... These must be Chinese dragons. I haven't seen any of the show or the movies, so I'm not too sure. But Wu and Wei, Woon Wei, interesting. Any Dynasty Warriors fans out there will know what I'm talking about. Either way, that brings us to an end. Not of the show, don't worry, don't panic just yet, folks. We're not fully done yet. To an end of the Unwrapped showcase. Did you get a chance to actually check it out yourself, Richie, or did you just read the blog?
I'm not going to lie, I just read the blog. I didn't really have that much interest in sitting down and watch the show. I watched the trailer as well as prepping for this episode. That's
all you need to
when
do.
It comes out, right? That's all I really need. I don't, because I'm not going to play these games. Potentially, maybe with my nephews at some point in the future, if they come.
Sorry,
but
what if we hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year?
Okay, yeah. That My Little Pony. But that wasn't planned.
That's true. Too. We'll rue the day we said that. Hopefully, I mean,
I think we'd have a blast doing it, to be honest.
As long as we're drunk.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not doing it sober.
Moving on. We got a little bit of a tease from Thunderful this week. So Thunderful Games, publishers of the SteamWorld Dig games. The studio formed Thunderful Games in general from a merger between the old Zoink Games, who made the SteamWorld, and Image and Form. They've confirmed they have 4 SteamWorld titles in the works. Now, we do know, I should say, about SteamWorld Headhunter. We actually, I think it was announced probably half a year, if not longer ago now, probably sometime last summer. I feel like it was at one of the events. Something Jeff Keighley did. Either way, SteamWorld Headhunter we know about, because it wasn't going to be your classic SteamWorld Dig game. However, they've also said, yes, there are 3 more titles in the works. So according to the latest earnings report, Headhunter, which is now scheduled for a 2023 release, won't be the only title coming that year. And as part of that was accompanied a schedule that revealed 3 additional currently unannounced ones are also coming. One of those titles, codenamed Strawberry, is Thunderful as reported as a puzzle game for mobile devices. While a second, codenamed Coffee, is a city builder set for launch on PC and unspecified consoles. And then there's still more to come. They wouldn't say what the actual... Oh, sorry, there is a last one. Caramel, Strawberry, Coffee, Caramel, is described as a turn-based tactical shooter/strategy game. So, Richie, it looks like 2023 is going to be a big world for those SteamWorld fans out there. Stadia?
Yeah, I wonder.
Thunderful have got a good relationship. We've got SteamWorld games.
Yeah, I can see that. They're smaller titles as well. I can see them coming. I'm wondering if Caramel is closer in scope to something like a SteamWorld Quest, which is that's more of a tactical RPG, but you use like cards. You lay cards on the board to do your battles.
Maybe a sequel.
With it being I don't think so. With it being a tactical shooter. Whereas Quest is very much fantasy orientated, but I might be completely off base there.
It's the SteamWorld games are one of those titles where I've played them, I enjoy them, but they always just seem to be about. They don't really go they're always well reviewed, they're always well received. They've got that art style that's very recognizable, and they just kind of exist, and people love them. And I congratulate them for that. And I really do hope, and I do believe that we'll actually see these titles on the platform as well. We've had most of them as a pro game, I think, at one point or another as well.
Yeah, I believe so. We've definitely had Quest because I played that. I think, did we have Dig 2? I'm not sure if we had Dig 1.
I think, I was thinking that. I think 1 was the weird anomaly where they gave us the sequel but not the original.
What's the other one?
SteamWorld. Why are we so bad?
Let us know in the comments.
Wow, we're rusty this week. Actually, there wasn't a pun intended in that, but the character's called Rusty, right? In SteamWorld. That's
actually, I think.
Hey, it works out. So we might be terrible at the game's names, but the character's name was pulled out there. Moving on, next story of the week. We got an update from Remedy. We actually reported on it a couple of weeks ago. They have a lot of projects in the works, and they've actually came out, the finished studios, part of their financial results, and basically clarified a few things that they are working on. We know they've got Alan Wake 2, currently being worked on after the Alan Wake remaster, which apparently didn't sell that well. So, interesting to look into there. And then they also have Vanguard, or codename Vanguard, codename Condor, and other projects. Do you think Vanguard and Condor is a better name than Coffee or Caramel?
I don't know. I think they're all fine. I think the project titles rather than game names, so...
Unless you're Nintendo and it's Project Strategy Triangle. or Octopath.
That's Square Enix. That there's Octopath and then like Triangle Strategy. Like.
I can't believe we got a game called Triangle Strategy.
Octopath, great game though.
It is. And on
I haven't
Stadia.
played Triangle Strategy.
And on Stadia. Like that, I think that is often overlooked by a lot of people. That is one of the sleeper hits that are on this platform. That if you gave it to a bunch of people who didn't know what Stadia was and said, "Oh yeah, it's got Octopath Traveler," they'd be like, "Isn't that a Switch exclusive?" And you'd be like, "No,
it was.
No.
It was
not any longer." But yes, the Remedy broke down as part of the news this week as part of their investor call. They talked about their partners with Smilegate. They're working with Microsoft. They had Crossfire X launch on the Xbox. Wasn't received that well. They also have their dedicated team working on, like I said, the Alan Wake 2 is in the full production stage now. A lot of work left to do, they said, but the game is starting to take a more complete form in many areas. It's leaning into the horror trope, so Alan Wake 2 is apparently going to be a lot more horror tropey than the original was. Not that I've played the original. The Vanguard is a free-to-play cooperative game that's being co-published by Tencent, so we don't really know what that's looking like yet. The project is still in the proof of concept stage. I don't think that'll be one we probably won't see on Stadia, with it just being Tencent. Something about me feels like they'll move away from a Google platform if they're going to put it out, but who knows, strange things have happened. Codename Condor is the spin-off game of Control that is still in the proof of concept stage. And then we've got Codename Heron, which is a bigger Control game, which I'm guessing is the sequel, is still in its concept and prototyping stage. And additionally, they're going to use the Northlight engine to bring all these games to light, which is their own in-house Remedy engine. They've been updating that and making it set for games like the future. And remember, a few weeks back, we also reported on them developing remakes of Max Payne 1 and 2 in a bundle in partnership with Rockstar and Take-Two. So they've given an update, Richie, on kind of the progress. It seems like a lot of it is still in development stages.
Yeah, we're not seeing any of this anytime soon. The only thing we'll see soon is Alan Wake 2, which is next year.
Yeah, if that. I feel like that might.
But there
be
again, this is an investor call, so it's like, imagine if you went the investor call like Alan Wake 2 is next year. It's like,
cool.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like going, okay, we've got these other games that we are just still early development on, but we are working on them. They're showing promise in their very early stages, but so I reckon most earliest we'll see any of these will be 2024.
Yeah.
At the earliest.
That seems like a safe bet, which is a shame because Control came out in 2019. So when I played Control in the September and then I played Jedi Fallen Order at Christmas. Yeah. Great 2 games back to back. And yet, I feel like we're imminently about to hear about Jedi Fallen Order 2, and that Control 2 is so far away because it seems like they've spread themselves out across so many. They've obviously done so well off Control. They've made all these new deals and decisions. Like Alan Wake wasn't a thing, and then all of a sudden it's like back and better than ever. But
I wouldn't be surprised if in their like timeline for development, like we'll get Control out, then we'll switch over to Alan Wake remaster, remake, whatever it was, and then we'll switch on to Alan Wake 2 because. Control is new IP. You have no idea how well it's going to do.
Very true.
And then it does really well. It's like, okay, we'll start adding Control stuff on the end of that timeline.
Very true. It's just a shame. I kind of feel like in hindsight, Control means more to me than Alan Wake does. So I just hate Alan Wake is such a bad name for a video game. It's so boring. Sorry to anyone out there called Alan Wake, but it's boring. Yeah.
My slight worry is Control, while it is very well received, I don't think it's sold massive numbers.
They made a lot of profit from it, but it was cheap to make for AAA standards.
But I'm thinking more is, like, by the time these other games come around, are they a bit too far away
that's
from
my
the original
worry.
game? Has the IP kind of decayed a bit?
Yeah.
Has the interest
Well, we'll have to wait and see. And see. One thing, hopefully, we won't have to wait too long to see is a game from Rockstar or Take-Two, because in line with kind of the deal they have with Remedy, they also had their own financial earnings report this week. It's almost like it's the time of year for this kind of thing, Richie.
Yeah.
And as people who cover news, it's great to see because we get a lot of juicy stories out of it. Take-Two had their big presentation. We actually broke it all down last year and we went in a bit more in detail into what games they have to come, what IP they consider as top level. I think we laughed and chuckled about because they still had like Midnight Club on and titles that have been dormant for so long, and yet they still put them in their portfolio as like top tentpole AAA games. I think like Mafia was still in there as one of the big ones. They reference like Bioshock, even though they've not had a Bioshock game out for a while. Max Payne, LNY was still in there, and that's been so long. They did the same thing. We actually said pre-show. A lot of it looks like it's copied and pasted from last year. But the one thing that may be copied and pasted from last year that we'll hang on to until we see another game is under the investor call for cloud gaming, or implementing new business models, I should say. We have, Richie, listed under streaming/cloud gaming, Game Pass Ultimate, cloud-enabled games, PlayStation Plus, whatever that new thing looks like, and Stadia. Still there.
See, what makes me think that this isn't just like copy and paste from last year is that PlayStation Plus one. Because that is new. That's new info.
Is it?
Well, PlayStation Plus being cloud gaming. Yeah, that's this year's. That was only announced this year.
I guess it was PlayStation Now.
So that means that this slide has been amended, at least that section of it, this year, and Stadia's still there.
That's true. So I just do hope it means. We've had so many rumours about Grand Theft Auto, whether that was the remaster trilogy or GTA 5 next-gen version come along, and now next-gen version is out on other platforms for the however many iterations of that title we're going to get, and the remastered ones are out there. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2, there was stories this week in the news saying that they're listening to their fans and they understand that the Red Dead online community feels like they've been left out, even though there's millions of them. And I don't know, I just want something to happen, but I guess that's just the Stadia fan in me who just thinks like we're a bit dry on all fronts at the moment, and a Rockstar game would be a huge win. Whatever Rockstar game they want to put out, it would be a huge win for Stadia.
You know what the biggest tease on this slide is? I mean, it's not under the streaming cloud gaming section because that's literally just like the bottom third of it, but it's under the direct to consumer. And they've got two images there. One's Rockstar Games launcher, which just goes, basically you can see Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
That's it. And the second one is 2K game launcher, and there's about 4 Civilization games. Like, I could do for some Civilization over on Stadia. You know what we're like about saying PC style games should come over.
True. And we take again. I honestly believe any Rockstar game you put out on this platform would be a huge win for Stadia, just to show that relationship is alive as well.
To be fair, there isn't that many Rockstar games when you think about it. There's Grand Theft Auto and there's Red Dead.
Yeah, well, there isn't. I mean, you've got the rest of Take-Two library, like we've said many times.
You've got things like
Bioshock,
Bully and some other stuff, but it's Grand Theft Auto. It's Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead basically at the moment.
Exactly. Feeding on from that Take-Two news, then away from the investor call, they also had an interesting. I saw an interesting thing this week regarding FIFA. Now, we mentioned about the FIFA split last week from... Actually, FIFA didn't split. EA, split from FIFA. FIFA 23 this year will be the last iteration, and then it'll be EA Sports FC. Still don't know how I feel about saying, Richie, do you want to pop around mine and have a few games of EA Sports FC, as opposed to saying FIFA? And then the governing body came out and said that they're going to do their own game. You and me, I think, last week settled pretty comfortably on 2K being the perfect partner for FIFA to actually launch their own brand. Whether they can do it in 2 years or not is still, we'll have to wait and see. Funnily enough, Take-Two Interactive described this week as part of a speaking to IGN, FIFA is a great brand with incredible clout. Following the football organisation's high-profile split, Take-Two boss Strauss Zelnick said about a potential new home for FIFA and post-EA, we're definitely interested in expanding our opportunities in sports, and FIFA has a great brand and incredible clout, but we have no current plans to discuss.
Right, can I just point out something further down in this article that just goes to show you how much FIFA are up their own arse? FIFA itself said it plans to continue licensing its brand of football games. Nothing wrong with that statement. And suggested its brand would indicate the best and most authentic game out there in any particular year, whoever ends up making it. It's like, what, your brand alone? This is not all the licenses for the clubs and licenses for the players. Your brand alone, that FIFA, them 4 letters, would just immediately make this the best, best football games. Like, fuck off.
Hey, we never know. You never know until it comes out.
I mean, it's entirely possible a Take-Two game it's called FIFA is the best in any given year. But just FIFA suggesting that brand alone will make it whoever ends up making it is like...
Yeah.
Like, No.
You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh.
Sorry,
at
guys.
The sheer
No.
arrogance of it all. But
it's just that's the word. It's arrogance.
And you'll see plenty of that in real life when it comes to the Qatar World Cup later this year. But we digress.
That's nothing to do with Take-Two. That little mini rant,
not.
but it's just FIFA.
I do definitely think it's pretty much on the cards. I don't think he would actively talk about it. And if they want this game to be out by 2023, they're gonna need to get a move on. You really, really are. This deal has to be signed and sealed and put into production ASAP. And that's bearing in mind you need a studio free of projects to start working straight away as well. You can't just drop tools.
I suspect they might have already been working on the game, getting the foundations right. They might have even been working on it for a few years. Because we know EA, like with FIFA and EA Sports Football, are iterative.
Yeah.
So it's only like maybe every 5 games you get a significant engine update.
Mm-hmm.
They may have been laying the groundworks for maybe the last 2 years. And maybe the FIFA brand is the last piece of the puzzle to get it out for next year.
Poor Konami.
We'll find out.
Poor Konami. They just held off on eFootball for another year. They could have launched it as FIFA, free to play, and then everyone couldn't have really complained because it would have been free. Either way, we digress.
For $1 billion, you reckon Konami's pulling that money out?
No, but I feel like FIFA would have maybe like brokered a deal where they got more of the revenue rather than just a one-off payment somewhere like that. But again, we'll see. Football, it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. Speaking of things that are here to stay, Richie, next story of the week. Quick little update from the Embracer Group. We know we reported on them pretty much acquiring some of the best IP from Square Enix in a weird fire sale that cost only $300 million. And funnily enough, they've came out this week and said their intentions with the Tomb Raider, the Deus Ex, the Thief, and the Legacy of Kain IP, amongst others, using their studios like Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and of course Square Enix Montreal, which will certainly need to be renamed. They are going to be, and I quote, "We see great potential, not only in sequels, but also in remakes, remastered, spin-offs, as well as transmedia projects across the entire group of IP." They went on to say it expects transactions between itself and Square Enix to close sometime between July and September, and then it'll be all firing on all cylinders, Richie. We kind of expect this. I actually saw Kotaku try and turn this into a negative article, saying that they want to take your old favourite games and rinse them for everything they're worth. I'm like, is that not business? Is that not how it works? You remind me of
something someone quoted in our Discord. It's like from the Kotaku article, it's like, do you like old games and do you like new games? It's like, what, so do you like games? like they're trying to spin it so hard into a negative. But it's like, if you like old games and new games, then you just like games. Like,
Like, I'm a firm believer of, like, remasters aside, if you're getting a better version of something that you got, like, the old version still exists for the most part, so...
And the thing is, for people who don't like remasters and remakes, just don't buy them. Yep. Like, if people like the game and, like, haven't played the game in a long time, want a new platform, or have missed out on it, remasters and remakes are a great way to get people back in.
Yeah.
I'm all for, as long as it's not that expensive new content, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. And you know what?
I just don't buy it if you're not interested.
Yeah, if they decide to remake Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 in like a new engine, fine. But then at the same time, they're going to be making a brand new Tomb Raider franchise entry anyway with modern tech and engines. I might buy that as well. But like you said, Richie, I just won't buy it if it doesn't appeal to me. We said a few episodes ago about the Sonic Origins thing. Will I buy it? Will I not buy it? Yeah. Who knows? But guess what? You all have the choice, folks. Just like buying things on any platform, playing games on any platform. Play and buy and spend your money wherever you want, wherever makes you the happiest. It's your decision.
The thing with this purchase is they haven't bought the IP, they've bought the studios as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So they've got all the people who made the last Tomb Raider games now working for them.
Yeah. And
so it's not like they bought the IP and give it to someone else who's got maybe not has the same track record. It's literally the same people working on it.
And that's another funny thing to go off video games as well, as we say about studios evolving and changing and stuff. Anyone who worked on the original Tomb Raider game back in 1995 or 6, they're probably not even in the industry anymore. A lot of them have probably moved on. They're in high positions. They might have even retired. They might be in totally different industries right now. But we go, the studio that made the original Tomb Raider. Like, not many of them are there. We laugh all the time with, I think, Naughty Dog as well. The teams who made, like, the original Uncharted and Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot, they're like, a lot of them are like millionaires and they've moved on and they're happy in retirement now and they do other projects. So again, video game development, it's all iterative. It evolves and changes and people come and people go. And at the end of the day, it's just the brand. It's the kind of the legacy of the brand that's left with it. So would I love to see Naughty Dog take another bash at a Crash Bandicoot game? Yes. Would it be anything like the old one? I don't know. But again, it's such a weird way we go around with video games. Lots of odd stuff happening. Next story of the week, Richie, is also a very odd thing happening. Of course, Mediatonic, now owned by Epic, had a presentation this week centered around Fall Guys. The little bean Total Wipeout-esque game that kind of took the world by storm. Was it last summer or was it the summer before? Time's funny like that. It must be a year. It must be one whole year, right?
It was very much a COVID game, so I think it might be almost 2, you know.
2? But it's... Right, okay, so the crux of the story is Fall Guys is going multi-platform on Nintendo Switch and Xbox. So that would have been a 2-year exclusive? No, it must have been a 1 year.
And free-to-play. And
free-to-play, yes. And it's a shame because before Epic came in and bought Mediatonic, I thought we might saw this on Stadia. Mediatonic actually put out a little indie title on Stadia over a year and a half ago now, which made me think they were maybe testing the water for Fall Guys. I think I said it was going to come last summer, and then it came as part of the presentation. As we said there, it's going to be PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, and Epic Games Store as well. They're taking it away from Steam, funnily enough, as well. So there's a little bit of bad blood there. But not coming to Stadia. And funnily enough, our viewers and listeners out there, the Stadia community, did what they do best. And they tweeted at them and said, Consino in particular, one of our Helix heroes, any news about company Google Stadia, would love to play it there. And in between a couple of responses, Consino actually tagged Tim Sweeney of Epic Games himself and said he'd like us to think he's Robin Hood battling unjust sheriffs, fighting Apple and Google in those lawsuit cases that we covered on the show a few years back for small developers. But we know it's about the money. Maybe someday he'll throw us a bone, but I imagine Google will have to pay big. To which the one and only Tim Sweeney replied to him and said, for your information, we give the PC game streaming services like GeForce Now and Shadow permission to stream Fortnite, etc., and we don't seek a fee from them. Stadia could do the same if they ran the Windows version, but currently it's Linux plus proprietary Google APIs. So Richie, I don't know what you want to take away from this. Tim Sweeney's totally cool with Fall Guys being on Stadia.
Yeah, again, I think it's like people like overplay these massive corporations like argue and stuff like they will get back. I know Epic and Google are suing each other left and right, but they're not against working together if it's the right for both of them, for all parties. Like suing, when big corporations, they just sue each other. It's just part of business.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, and I think the big takeaway from here is not that an Epic game could have potentially come to Stadia. It's the reason why not. It's because it's using Linux.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what he's saying there is, it's too much effort to probably port and upkeep because it's on Linux, which means every time we update the game, we'll probably have to do extra work. Where the GeForce Now and Shadow are Windows based, so we can just pop the version from the Epic Games Store probably over there and it works.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just streams, right? So it's not a no.
Hopefully, with Google's proprietary tech helping port games over, it may bridge these sort of gaps.
Yeah, well, there's the new porting process
This does seem to be a limitation of Stadia, though.
Well, we knew that when they said they were going all in on Linux day one. It's got its pros, but it definitely has its cons as well. And this is where I think Amazon Luna, people are expecting it to have like the cutting edge when it comes to Windows ports. But we have to see that.
It's just easier to bring games over to non-Linux platforms.
Yeah.
Although Steam Deck is on Linux, so that is getting better.
Yeah, I know Steam Deck is. We're expecting that to help out Stadia's cause actually because of the focus on that. And again, Steam and Epic, they're always going to have this thing back and forth now. So, Fall Guys, fingers crossed. Now it's coming to multi-platform with cross-play and cross-progression. It's the perfect time to get it in the hands of those Stadia players on all of those many, many devices. I'd love to play Fall Guys on my phone with my Razer Kishi. It's kind of it's one of those games where, if you have 20 minutes, jump in and just do a few rounds and bounce out with your little crown. The
alternative to that for you is just pick up on Switch.
Yeah, but
But then you're carrying another device.
I don't take my Switch to work with me. That's like the other side of that.
Yeah, I'm happy to play on my phone, but taking my Switch feels a bit one step too far.
Yeah, people will question what you're taking that around with you, but we digress. Few final stories for the week. Resident Evil and Dead by Daylight have a new team up, of course. We've already had a Resident Evil update on the Dead by Daylight game with character drops. It's, of course, the game what balances original characters with licensed crossovers, including franchises like Hellraiser, Stranger Things, and Silent Hill. And obviously Resident Evil is always going to be popular. Project W is the next one. No doubt alluring to the Wesker family within the Resident Evil lore and franchise. It is Resident Evil canon, and the project is going to be coming up soon. It's possibly in line with some of the Netflix series that's coming out, Richie. I don't know if you saw the trailer for the Resident Evil movie drop this week, all focused on Joy.
I actually haven't.
Looks interesting, to say the least.
That's it. That's all I need to know.
That's all you need to know.
If a series is not, you need to watch this, I just don't bother. So
yeah, I actually don't have Netflix at the moment. I said on a previous episode that I cancelled it for the first time since 2013. So we'll see. We'll see about getting back into it. But in regards to Dead by Daylight, it essentially just probably means some new character packs to go in with Project W. Legendary skins, takes on different characters that have already came in previous Resident Evil content. The protagonists, Chris Redfield, Lisa Garland, and such, is the one from Silent Hill. There'll be crossover stuff. The great thing with Dead by Daylight is it just seems to get content constantly. And if you're a big fan of it, if you're a big horror Halloween fan, it's no surprise. I know Evil Dead game just came out this last week, and it plays quite similar to Dead by Daylight. So a bit more fresh competition, which means no doubt they're pumping out some new characters to go along with it. But nice to see a game supported so long. It's great to see. Final stories for the week, Richie. We got a bit of an update from our friends over at 9to5 Google about Stadia's cloud technology being utilised in different particular ways. We know Google's I/O event happened a few weeks back now, and they announced Immersive Stream for XR, which is essentially cloud-based technology similar to Google Stadia, but being implemented in different manners. So we've got Stadia B2B business model was resold as Immersive Stream for games. We've now got Immersive Stream for XR, which is going to utilise virtual reality, augmented reality across different things. And it looks like they've partnered with BMW to launch a kind of augmented reality way of rendering a BMW on your driveway, the interior, change the colours, change the features, rotate it on the spot. All of the kind of typical stuff that you would do on a car website, just now it's done in the cloud instead.
Yeah, well, I think you can go on car websites and you can build your own car, build your own, like, this is what a car look like. But by using things like AR, I mean, if you desperately need to see how it looks in your drive, like, you can do that. I think, though, it'd be more because it's, like, fully rendered rather than just stock images, like, kind of stuck together.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get more of a 360 experience, probably potentially even things like open the doors. Potentially on your phone, like you could that stuff that you don't really get that you can only get from the showroom. You might be able to get some of that. Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool tech.
It is. It's interesting that it's being used for that kind of thing. I know there's a big push for like augmented reality. There has been for some years now. At Google I/O, they actually demonstrated the glasses that did like Google Translate live and in the moment. Project Iris is going to probably be using that for like maybe overlay graphics and stuff. If the information is again with the glasses, there's not much space for like a GPU or a chipset or anything. So actually being hooked up to the cloud and all that information being rendered in real time via cloud technology could elevate the space required. Kind of similar to how your phone uses like Google Lens and stuff, but it does it all through the internet rather than actually store the information on your phone. Yeah. But we digress a little. It's nothing really to do with Stadia, but I just thought it was really interesting how we've now got Immersive Stream for games, and now we've also got Immersive Stream for XR coming out. And
it's actually already up on BMW's website, so you can actually head over if you want to have a look.
Check out that BMW on your driveway, indeed.
Or in your living room, if that's what you want.
I mean, yeah, if you can park it in there, then why not? Why not? A few final updates this week from Stadia. We had... a latest APK file was broken down by our friend Carl Bradshaw over at 9to5 Google as well, and shout out to those guys for doing these APK files, because I think it does take a lot of hard work to drill into like the technical coding and actually see and try and speculate on what exactly it can mean, and to just put it into an article, it makes our lives a lot easier. So it's a lot of hard work, but we do appreciate everything the guys do over there. Not many updates based on the last one we broke down, Richie. I think 1440p streaming is still in the pipeline. It's not been added yet.
That's an important update in my opinion.
It is indeed. Of course, the little added reference to up to 1440p has been added, so it does look like that's on the horizon for anyone who uses a desktop PC or a laptop with a higher resolution. Some more in-app help has been added. Little stacks that represent enable Google Help flag. That might just be down to a quality in Q&A. If you've got a problem or a glitch with a game, you might be able to report it a bit more directly rather than going through Google support and help. That makes sense. We also covered touch controller customization a few weeks back. It looks like they're still adding some elements into that. But other than that, there's just some odds and ends that have came up into it. Ubisoft Plus rewards and some ESRB ratings are in there, which, again, nothing that juicy. It just means there's a bit more crossover between the two models.
There's a USK sexualized depictions tag.
Yeah,
that's probably juicy.
USK is the German ratings board, right? I think.
I am not entirely sure, to be honest.
I think it is, yeah. So, yeah, in amongst all the coding, there's references to gambling, cash prizes, fantasy violence, alcohol. It looks like the Stadia app is just going to focus and hone in a little bit more on user ratings, age ratings for children. No doubt with all these outright games coming down the pipeline, Richie, we need to make sure that Paw Patrol and My Little Pony does not include any fantasy violence or scary moments, or more importantly, sexualized depictions.
Yeah, that'd be quite...
cut it out.
An odd 10 for that game.
And then the final one, which is Carl's picked up on, is there's something broken into the code file that says Model Bruno. But as Carl rightly points out, we don't talk about Bruno, so that's all we know on that particular part right now. And that brings us to the end of the APK breakdown, the end of your Stadia news. But I did want to end this week's episode, Richie, with a nice little funny piece of news from pop culture relating to video games. Anyone out there who's going to check out the new Chip and Dale film on Disney Plus this coming week, it's a throwback to Chip and Dale. It actually, you know what, Richie? I'm guessing you haven't seen the trailer for this one.
No, I haven't.
Are you a big fan of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers by any chance from back in the day?
I mean, if I vaguely remember it, I probably did watch it as a kid, but it's probably one of them shows that occasionally would just be on, but it's not like the show I'm going for.
Do you know which one's Chip and which one's Dale?
No idea.
Right. The best way I always remembered it, and I hope I'm right, is Chip has a brown nose, like a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
Dale has a red nose. I don't know if that's right. Have you checked it? You've just said Chip and Dale, haven't you? You've got both of them.
I've just said Chip and Dale, yeah.
Either way, the new Chip and Dale movie, it's a very, almost like a Deadpool tongue-in-cheek, where they are old has-beens of yesteryear from their old cartoons in the 80s, and it's a movie that is basically mocking... It's almost like a self-deprivation of their characters and how they're outwashed, they're not popular anymore. And the movie actually shows them going to like Comic Cons featuring characters from yesteryear. You see, I think the trailer shows like Baloo from the Jungle Book, who's still one of the more popular ones. And they're basically signing autographs. And then they have like a resurgence with 3D, and the movie becomes half 2D, half 3D. It's getting quite good early reviews, but weirdly enough...
It sounds quite meta.
It's very meta, very meta. That's a great way of describing it. But I'm definitely keen to check it out because I'm a big Disney fan. I did enjoy Rescue Rangers back in the day. And...
Is it aimed at like an older audience?
I think so.
It feels like it feels like it could be like...
There's going to be a lot
We're going to reinvent Chip and Dale to be like an adult comedy.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of references in there. It's Andy Samberg's actually the voice of one of them, so it's that type of, like, not quite Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but you know what you're going to get from him. And without divulging too much, guess spoilers if you're planning on watching it, but it's not that big of a spoiler. It's all over the internet by now. When they're at the Comic-Con event in the movie signing these bad autographs, they bump into Sonic, but not Sonic as we know him from the movies. They bump into that horrific human being teeth-wearing Sonic from the trailers. So he's now officially known as Ugly Sonic. He's at the Comic-Con, Richie, as some kind of washed-out, unwanted star of pop culture. And I think it is meta, and it's so funny that he's now a real thing in a movie. Oh, his face in this article is so bad as well.
It's worse than I remembered.
Yeah, he's got human teeth. He's a hedgehog and he has human teeth. He's a freak of nature. He is. But you know what? Maybe it's just a clever bit of marketing for Sonic 2, the movie, and also Sonic
like
Origins.
I actually like that it's in the film, but damn, Sonic's ugly.
This version of Sonic is ugly. Many other iterations are cool and cute, I guess, to some degree. But that brings us to an end, Richie, for episode 139 of the Sounds of Stadia podcast. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in, listened along for this week's shows. We round up all of the gaming and Stadia news for your listening or viewing pleasure. We are about to go away and record. That was backwards. The next episode of CloudQuest, Richie. Episode number 68. What are we talking about on this week's show?
We are talking about
Ubisoft
Classics. I knew I'd get that. Again, it's a couple of times in this show my mind just went blank. An inopportune moments. But we're talking about Ubisoft Classics and can they come to Stadia Pro?
Exactly, yes. The tantalising new information it was released as part of PlayStation Plus's announcement reveals this past week. Ubisoft's Plus Classics. What the hell is it? And could it be a nice boost for Stadia Pro? We're going to be breaking all that down as part of CloudQuest, our topical side quest weekly show. I kind of said side quest in CloudQuest show. We'll get there. We'll iron those creases out. But more importantly, our Helix heroes, if you're viewing this right now, over 50 of you get early access to this for as little as 99p, along with extra perks and stickers next to your name, plus Richie's undevoted love. But more importantly, if you don't want to support us, or you can support us for that extra little bit, do not fear, it will drop on free feeds and podcast services next Friday, when Richie, you and me, will be in Poland. We will not be in the UK for the first time in over 2.5 years.
It's been even longer for me since I left the UK.
That is true. I went to Amsterdam.
Last time I left the UK, I was with you.
Oh, where did we go?
We went Spain.
Was that long ago?
Actually,
damn.
It might be,
You deserve a holiday, my friend. You deserve a holiday. But do not fear, people. There will be normal episodes. Regularly scheduled programming will continue. We are going to record next week's show Tuesday, so if the news is missing a few bits, we apologise in advance. We do have a live stream up for Thursday, so don't fear, that will be dropping as normal. We actually looked at Overcooked, Richie. We mentioned this episode, but yes, this Thursday, Overcooked, all you can eat. Myself and Richie jump in, reveal our culinary greatness, our fantastic chef abilities. We are pretty great when it comes to Overcooked. Like we won't flambe ourselves anymore, but yeah, we're pretty damn good at it. And that's going up on Thursday. Don't worry. Do not forget, if you want to join up with other like-minded people, we have a Discord server, a thriving Discord server where there's conversation every single day about video games, Google Stadia, being an adult, looking after kids, paying taxes, all of the fun stuff you can possibly discuss in our Discord. The link's in the description below. We'd love you to join us. Feel free. But that has been it for another wonderful episode of Sounds of Stadia, your most consistent Stadia podcast on the planet for episode 139. My name's been Chris.
And I've been Richie.
We've been Hades Cloud Games. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, folks, play wherever makes you the happiest. Have a great week. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.